Hey, what's up YouTube? In this video, I'll be showing you how to make another hotel. Oh, and by the way, just in case you have any more building related needs, feel free to check out the card system and the links below down in the description for my other various playlists and videos. I'm going to link you guys a couple of building playlists, and I'm also going to link a couple of individual builds that you might love if you like this hotel. Let's move on. If you want to make the hotel, here's what you're going to need. You will need some block of quartz. Also, grab yourself some quartz slab, and finally, grab yourself some blue stained glass, and that is all you're going to be needing, guys. These hotels are very simple to build, and you know what, you probably want to move the glass and the quartz closer together as well. So, once you have each one of these three materials, and once you've figured out where you want to make it, I'll be making it right here. You're going to want to kick off your hotel with a row of 21 block of quartz coming directly up from the ground. That's 21. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. And you just want to have a row of 21 that sits right there. Once you have your row of 21, this is what you want to do next, guys. So, come all the way down to this first block. And kind of looking through it like this, or kind of looking down, you want to do this on the ground from this first block that you placed. You want to do 3 upright diagonals, so that'll be 1, 2, 3. You then want to go right of this third upright diagonal by 2, 1, 2. You then want to go up by 2, 1, 2, then right by 3, 1, 2, 3, then go down by 2 to connect to the ground, then take this block that connects to the ground and go right of it by 2, 1, 2, then do 3 bottom right diagonals, so that's 1, 2, 3, so kind of coming towards you. Bottom right diagonals 1, 2, 3. And what you then want to do on this third bottom right diagonal is you want to go up on top of it by 20. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. To give you this. Let me just show you guys. It kind of looks like a W. It does actually look like a W, but what we have there, guys, is we have the marker for how big the first part of this hotel is going to be, plus we actually have the entrance to the hotel. That's what we've just made there. Now, once you're happy with all of that, you now want to come behind what you've just made, and you want to take each one of these top quartz blocks that we have right here, and you want to extend them going that way, where the back of the hotel is going to be each by 11. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and we have the other one to do as well. So that'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. And then connect each one of those 11th blocks together. These can actually connect together, and also connect them to the ground as well. So we just want to end up with a nice big 3D rectangular-ish shape right in the center of what is going to be the center of the hotel. I'm saying the center of the hotel, but you guys don't know that yet. But you want to end up with something that should look like this. And like I said, this is going to be the center of the hotel. And we don't want to connect the top front part of the hotel together. We'll be doing that later on, don't worry, that's just supposed to be empty. So, once you've got all of that taken care of, guys, this is what you want to do next. So, we now want to come, can you guys remember this block right here that we did the second row of 20 on top of? Well, taking a bird's eye view, looking down, coming towards out of the front of the hotel, you want to do a row of 15 block of quartz, like coming out. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You then, from this 15th block, want to do 2 bottom right diagonals. So that's 1, 2. Then go right of that second bottom right diagonal by 6. So that's 1, 2, whoops, hang on. Let's start that again, guys. Make sure we get it right. So that's 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then do 2 upright diagonals. So that's 1, 2. then go up back towards the hotel by 23. That is 2, 3, 23, and it's going to be easier for me if I do this sideways. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. And still kind of looking down, kind of looking towards where the back of the hotel is going to be, we now want to, from this 23rd block, do 3 up left diagonals. So that's 1, 2, 3. We then want to go left of that diagonal until we hit the back part of our hotel, and I completely forgot that we would actually hit this back part. But what you then want to do is just connect these two bottom blocks together. You guys can remember these blocks that we made earlier. You can connect the bottom blocks together, and let's just pretend that, you know, this didn't happen, and come to this block right here on the right hand side that we have at the very back right hand corner of the hotel, and going right of this block, you actually want to do a row of, and I've just got to calculate this, guys, because I completely forgot this had happened. You want to do a row of, 7, so going right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And what we then want to do is then just return back to the bird's eye view, and we kind of want to be looking at it like this, so we're looking towards the back of the hotel, looking down. Then we want to take this 7th block, and we want to do 3 bottom left diagonals. So that's 1, 2, 3. Then take this 3rd bottom left diagonal and go down by 23. That is 2, 3, 23. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23. Then from this 23rd block, do 2 bottom right diagonals. So that's 1, 2. Then go right of that second bottom right diagonal by 6. So that's 1, 2, 3... Whoops. Okay, let's start that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I had the exact same problem on the opposite side. You then want to take this 6th block and do 2 upper right diagonals. 1 and 2. Then take that second upper right diagonal and connect it all the way back to where you first started. And hopefully, you should end up with a shape that should look a little bit like this, just to show you how this should look. It actually looks like a big, giant tunnel, or an N, kind of, or a U. It looks like, or a C. We're now playing letters with friends, but that is exactly what you want to have, guys. That is the exact pattern that you want to form on the floor. Now, once you've reached this point right here, guys, this is what you want to do next, and this is where the easy but tedious part of this comes in. So what do we want to do? Let me show you. On top of this base layer of quartz that we have right here, we want to repeat this pattern that I'm about to show you, and we want to repeat it until we hit the top block of quartz here. We want to do this. We want to do 3 block of quartz, 1, 2, 3, then, 3 glass, then 1 block of quartz, then 3 glass, 1, 2, 3, 1 block of quartz, 3 glass, 1 block of quartz, 3 glass, 1 block of quartz, 3 glass, 1 block of quartz. And if everything's been done correctly, that last block of quartz should just it should line up with the top of the hotel right there. And we want to repeat this pattern literally everywhere on the hotel, and that's just on top of every single one of these quartz blocks, including this entrance section as well. We want to do 3 glass, and I'm just going to add all of the glass in. Then we want to do 1 block of quartz, and we want to do that over and over and over again until every single one of these base quartz blocks has been stacked exactly like this. That is exactly what we want to do, guys. Now, the method that you do this doesn't really matter. Like, if you want to take care of this middle section like I'm doing now, I'm going to take care of this middle section, and then I'm going to kind of just do everything in waves. I'll kind of show you what I mean when we get to it, but I'm taking care of this middle section. I'm filling this in because it's actually kind of a weird shape in relation to the rest of the hotel. But however you want to do this, it really doesn't matter. You just want to apply that very same pattern onto every single one of those base quartz blocks until they have been raised up, and everywhere on this hotel is as high as the big center portion. I'm sure that you guys understand what I'm talking about, and it'll be easier to see what I'm talking about once we actually get to that point later on that we've actually raised up a fair amount of the hotel. As a matter of fact, you guys are going to be able to get a better look at what I'm talking about in just a moment, because we just have to add this one last layer of blue glass and quartz, and we will be completed. We will have done this middle section, which is the entrance section, and this is why I'm leaving this bit, or that's why I'm taking care of this bit right now, guys. It's just because the center part is actually kind of a difficult shape to do in kind of the, like, I'll show you what I mean. I'll show you how I'm going to be doing this. But that is what you want to have pretty much everywhere, guys. That is the middle section of the hotel. Again, however you want to do this, that's completely up to you. But what I'm now going to do is I'm kind of just going to go all the way around each wing of the hotel. I like to think that this hotel has like two different wings, the left and the right. So I'm going to completely take care of this left wing, and then I'm going to take care of the right wing. And I'm just going to be stacking up the layers of glass. Like, I'm just going to do all of the glass, or all of one row of one wing, then I'm going to do the next row and the next row. If you guys can see how I'm doing this, I'm just going to build it up like each individual horizontal row at a time, and I just figure it's easier this way. It's less irritating to do this way than having to keep changing materials all the time, and by getting rid of that little middle section that has all of like the bumps and the waves in it, I figured that that'd just make things easier. So yeah, guys, it's a little bit tedious, I'll admit that, but like all of these hotels, you know, that's something that you sacrifice. When you want to make something bigger and you want to make something look really cool, it usually takes a lot of work, whether that's, you know, in detail work, which this isn't, or whether it's just applying a lot of materials, which is exactly what this is. It's not, you know, it's not exactly difficult to do. This is actually a really easy hotel to make. It's as easy as any one of my... Actually, the first hotel that I made was probably the most difficult one to make by far, but this is just as easy as the previous hotel that I've made, and honestly, I like this just as much. I was going to say, like, I don't know whether I like this one better. Out of all three of my hotels, I actually like the last one that I've made, and probably this one as much as I like the first one. I kind of like all of them, actually. I can't really stack rank them. A lot of you guys often ask me, like, what's your favorite build, what's your favorite pixel art that you've done. I don't usually have an answer for that stuff, actually. I have to kind of make it up. I don't really have like a favorite building. I like all of them. I obviously like some buildings more than others, but like I couldn't tell you that I like hotel number 1 more than like my night. I can't even talk. I'm not cutting this, by the way. This would be a nightmare to edit if there was loads of cuts. I can't say that I like that more than my Nyan Cat house. That's what it's tripping me up. Nyan Cat. It's hard to say for me. You guys know Nyan Cat, right? The Pop-Tart cat that flies across the universe. Kind of old now, but I actually made that into a house, like... I think that was one of my very first theme houses. I think that was my very first theme house, the Nyan Cat house. I took the Nyan Cat pixel art, and I literally blew it up, I made it 3D, and I turned it into a house. Or at least, I called it a house. Really, what it was a 3D statue of Nyan Cat, and I really shouldn't have called it, like, Nyan Cat House, but I thought it'd be really cool if I, like, blew it up in 3D, turned it into a big giant statue, opened its mouth, which I did, and kind of used it as a house, and that's still on the channel to this day. I think it has like 500,000 views or something like that, maybe less, maybe more, and like, I really love that house, but it's not the best house that I've ever made, but it's the first theme house that I ever made, and I really, really loved that thing. And I know that I've done other houses since, like, but also, like, I can't say that SpongeBob's house is my favourite house, despite the fact that it's incredibly popular. Same with the Krusty Krab, I can't say that that's my favourite. It's difficult to say. It's weird when you create these things. If any of you guys out there build a lot of stuff, and I know that you do, because you send me your worlds and stuff on Twitter, and you send me loads of pictures, and I really enjoy looking at them. Like, you might, if you build as much as I do, it might be like, well, I like all of these things for different reasons. I don't really have a favourite, per se. I like them. Isn't it like children, how you really can't pick a favorite child, or at least you're not supposed to pick a favorite child. Like, I like them all, but in different ways. That's kind of the same deal. It's the same thing with Pixlot. I don't have a favorite Pixlot either, or a favorite statue. Or do I have a favorite statue? Let me think. Actually, you know what? I made a new statue that you guys haven't seen yet. It's a pretty common subject for a statue. You guys will see it if you watch my world tour, or when I do the actual tutorial, because this thing will get a tutorial. I made Steve on a pig, like a saddled pig, and I made him sit, he sat down on it, and he's got a big giant diamond sword in his hand, and he's kind of like waving it about, and his other hand's kind of like, it's kind of like diagonally poised, and it's like on his lap. It's a really cool statue. It's something that I've seen quite a few other people make, but I don't know if there's any tutorials for these things. Like, sometimes if you have a bit of a look on Google Images, or if you have a bit of a Google around for a little bit of inspiration, as I do sometimes, like, I just want to see what other people have made. Like, there's this really, really cool statue, or I suppose it's not even a statue, it's like a statue house hybrid. I don't know if you guys have actually seen this, you'd probably be able to find it, but there's somebody made like a giant statue of Steve. He has a beard, and he's kind of like Atlas, like he has a big giant chunk of land on his back, and he's like holding up a house that has like some water dripping down, and he's just like Steve, like kind of knelt down a little bit, and his arms are kind of like up in a U shape just above him, and he's like holding an entire house like with a landmass on top of his shoulders, and that is one of the coolest things that I've ever seen. I get inspired by stuff like that, but as you guys can see, this is kind of like how the hotel is going to be. This is kind of how it's going to be going. It's just 3 blue glass, 1 quartz, forever and ever, and we've just got to do this all the way around, and I'm just going to do this on the back now as well. As a matter of fact, I'm going to fill this a little back middle section in. So yeah, I don't know if you guys have ever seen that. It's a popular image. It comes up every single time I search like Minecraft into Google Images, but I think that that's kind of what inspired me to do like Steve on the pig. But like I said, I've seen that stuff in the past. As a matter of fact, I saw somebody who did like a Spongebob statue, like an actual statue of Spongebob. I've done 2 Spongebob statues. I've done one that's kind of in the style of an actual Minecraft skin, so it's got all of those dimensions. But I also did a Spongebob statue that was actually like in the dimensions of SpongeBob. He looked like a big giant SpongeBob, and I saw something like that, and it was on a pig, and I can't remember whether SpongeBob had like a sword in his hand or what have you, but that was kind of a cool statue that I saw as well. And that, like I said, I've done Steve on the pig, and I don't know if anybody's actually done like a tutorial for that sort of stuff, and I don't know. I'm gonna do it. It looks cool, and I think that you guys will like it. But that's that middle section filled in now. Now we're just going to completely fill in this right-hand section of the hotel. We're just going to be doing it exactly how we did that left-hand section. It's just going to be, you know, this entire side. And then once we've done both of these sides, we have to do an extension on the middle part of this hotel. As a matter of fact, we have to do an extension on this middle part of the hotel. And then we will add a couple of finishing touches. And then once the finishing touches are done, actually, guys, I'll be showing you my actual original hotel. And I know that this hotel seems really simple, and it almost seems as though it can't really go anywhere. It doesn't look as though it doesn't look as impressive as my others, but trust me when I tell you, when you add all of the finishing touches to this thing, and when you add an interior and an exterior, this thing looks absolutely amazing. You guys are going to see. You're going to be glad that you've built this. And it doesn't take a massive amount of time to make this hotel either. At least I don't think it does. My previous hotel, and I might prove myself wrong here, my previous hotel took an hour to make the thing, like an hour to literally like make the exterior, or to make the building I should say, and then it took, oh god, I don't even know, like an extra hour or 2 just to do the inside, like just to do the inside and the outside. Like I added all of the floors in, that took ages, and I added all of the walls in as well. Like I made separate hallways in that thing, and I made an exterior to it. You know, there was fountains and there was pathways and stuff. I love that hotel. It's futuristic looking, my previous hotel. I always made a joke about that. In my previous Creative World number 4, which there's a full tour for on my YouTube channel, It's sat next to like the Dragon Ball Z logo, and it just looks like something that's ripped directly out of that like semi-futuristic world. It looks really cool. If you guys like this hotel and you haven't seen my previous two, do yourself a favor and check them out, or at least I like them. You guys loved the first one, and I mean loved the first one. That video absolutely blew up, and the second one is not doing too shabby either, I believe. It's doing quite nicely. So, like I keep saying, like I keep reiterating as I do, if you like this one, check out my other couple of hotels. I've only done 2 others, and you might be in for a nice surprise. But this one is definitely, in my opinion, in a league with those other 2. This one is definitely almost, it's definitely as nice. It's easier to make, which is why I keep almost saying like, it's almost as good as the other 2, but I genuinely believe that it is as good as the other 2. I cannot wait to show you the original version of this thing. It's gonna be great. I love it. You guys are going to see what I'm talking about, but I don't know how far we are up here. I don't know if we're about halfway. Yeah, we're about halfway. The next bit, like I said earlier, we're going to be focusing on the center part of this hotel, like where the entrance is. We're essentially going to be extending that rectangular shape that we made earlier. We're going to be extending that up, and we're going to be adding a couple more layers, like a couple more floors, and then after that we're just going to be giving this hotel a bit more of a shape. You know how it's kind of like flat now, like the glass is in line with the quartz and stuff? Well, we're going to be fixing that later on, and everything's going to be fine. It's all going to be good. I've been getting a lot of requests lately, and I actually obliged a little bit. I've been getting a lot of requests to make like hospitals and police stations and fire stations and gas stations and stuff, and I don't know whether this has stemmed from like making a hotel, since I've now like crossed over into like a more real world building, but I actually quite like it. Like I made a hospital, and that's another video that you guys are really liking. It's an easy to make building. It looks fantastic. Takes a while though, probably take you about an hour to make the thing. Even more if you do the interior. The interior is, oh god, the interior is no fun to do on that building whatsoever, but I'm thinking about doing more real world stuff. I think that the next thing, and that's another thing that I did, I also made McDonald's and I made KFC, and I'm actually in the process of making Taco Bell. I'm not sure. You guys, those seem to do really, really well whenever I do them on my channel. I think that the McDonald's building that I did, I think that that's sitting at, and I don't want to overestimate all of these users and stuff, but I think that's sitting on like a few 100k, maybe even 500,000 by now. I don't even know. It's crazy. You guys love the in real life stuff. I've got to get on that. I've got to finish my Taco Bell, which looks great, by the way, or at least the bit that I've done. I've only done the entrance, but I can tell that it's going to look amazing. And I think that I'm going to do a petrol station next, or a gas station. Do you call, how do Americans say it? Like, is it gas station? Is it petrol station? I don't, you know, watching a lot of American TV and movies and stuff, I don't really hear Americans say petrol too much. It's gas. It's not different. I know that like gas and petrol's the same thing. Do you say you must use diesel? I never hear them say diesel either. It's so weird. It's just gas. Whatever. It's probably just a cultural thing. That is so weird that I've never heard any Americans say like petrol or diesel. Huh. Except Vin Diesel. I've heard that. Anyway, we're very quickly reaching the right wing of the hotel. We've just about finished it. We've just got a little bit of quartz to finish off, and bam, there we go, guys. This is what you want to have in total for your hotel once you've added all of the blue glass and once you've added all of the quartz. Looking pretty good. Like I said though, it is looking a little flat at the moment. Don't worry, we're going to be solving that problem. Now, once you've reached this point right here, and I will give you a little bit of a view going all the way around. Once you've reached this point right here, guys, this is what you want to do next. So, What we have to do first of all is we have to find the 4 original quartz blocks that kind of started off the rectangular shape that we made at the beginning. So we want to find this block right here, where we have this massive vertical row of quartz, this block right here, and the 2 on the back. And on top of each one of these 4 quartz blocks, we want to stack 4 rows of 20 quartz. So it'll look like this. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And this one on the opposite side, where are we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. And what you can then actually do, if you turn flight back on, you can then connect each one of those blocks together, 20th block to 20th block. You can then just drag them back, each one of those 20th blocks, until they're kind of like equal, until they're equal with like the back of the hotel, and then you can just connect them down. I wouldn't count more than twice. The reason that I counted twice there is just to make sure that I kind of like had the right amount of blocks. But what you want to do, instead of, you know, just counting out 4 rows of 20, count out those first 2 rows, make sure that those are rows of 20, then just drag them back towards the back of the hotel, then connect them down, and also connect everything together as well. So you want to form like a nice big rectangular shape, and I'm sure that you guys can see how we arrived at that. As a matter of fact, if you look at the back of the hotel, it's quite obvious why we raised up those 2 blocks in the first place. It all flows up together. Now, once you have that taken care of, guys, what do you want to do next? You're itching to find out. Well, what we have to do now is we have to take this center part of the hotel and we have to apply the exact same pattern that we've already applied quite a few times already. It'll go like this. So on top of this quartz, for example, and going all the way around, we want to do 3 blue glass, 1, 2, 3, 1 quartz, 3 blue glass, 1 quartz, 3 blue glass, 1 quartz, so on and so forth, until we eventually reach the top here. And the sides and back of this hotel, like the left, right, and back, will be flat like this, and it'll go all the way around. However, the front middle part of this will continue to go up, and it will be shapely like this, just to show you guys. So this is what the front will look like, but the sides will be flat, so it just wants to look like... Well, I mean, that doesn't really give you a good gist of it, but you guys might get the idea. We're going to be raising up like the existing shape that we have in the center. It's kind of like going to be curved inwards. It's going to be concave, whilst the rest of it will be flat. It will just be like a flat surface. You guys know what I'm talking about, and you'll see what I'm talking about. But that's what we have to do, guys. We have to follow the exact same pattern that we followed a couple of times already, and that will be that. So why don't we get filling this in, and then we can then move on to the next bit. So what were we talking about beforehand, guys? I can't even remember. There's no point in talking about this any further, as in, like, you know, just keep stacking the glass and stacking the glass. That's why I've kind of went on to a couple of weird tangents. I mean, I don't know whether you guys are watching this along with me, or whether you kind of, like, you got the instructions and you're just building by yourself now, but for those of you that are kind of like sticking in there and we're kind of like doing the same thing together at the same time, which is kind of like how I like to imagine it, although I'm sure that's not how it goes for most of you. I feel as though we're having like a bit of a conversation. I like that. I like that a lot. That's why I actually like doing my world tour videos. They're one of my favorite videos. You know what? People ask me what builds I like a lot, like what are my favorite builds, but something that's actually even easier to answer is what videos I like doing on the channel, and to stack rank those, my favorite videos to do, and we're reaching the top of this center part, by the way. When we reach the center part, when you hit the top there, for the like top, you'll notice that you have like a moon shape. Or I suppose it's more like a semicircle shape, just empty here. Don't worry, we'll be filling that in later, but that's what the center middle part wants to look like, and it flows all the way down to the bottom like that. But once you've done that, we just have to do, like I said, the exact same thing on all of these opposite sides. And the left, right, and back are all very easy to do, as they're just fat and they flat. Did I say that the that the sides are fat? The sides are flat and they just follow the exact same pattern. But yeah, my favorite videos to record on the channel, I love doing my Q&As. They're my favorite video to do at the moment on the channel. I love doing those things. I don't know, I like answering the questions. I like having to read everybody's questions. I like having to read everybody's input. That's always fun. You guys are always a lot of mental. I always like putting up, like, it's so hard to describe because it sounds creepy. It's like I like putting up little pieces of me on the channel, if that makes sense. I know that sounds a little weird. It almost sounds creepy, doesn't it? But I think you guys might know what I'm talking about. Like, anything that, you know, where the personality comes through, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing for you guys. I always like putting stuff like that up. Like, I like doing my world tour videos. I like going around and showcasing my stuff, because that's kind of how I started. A lot of people ask me, how did I start YouTube? Well, you know all of these things that I built? I never used to do tutorials for them. I just showed you guys what I built, and you guys had eventually, you know, you guys had loved the stuff, and it was always, can you show us how to make it? So instead of me just showing you this hotel, which is what it would have been like when I very first started the channel, it would have been, the other way around. Instead of me showing you how to make it, I would have showed you guys just, you know, the hotel itself. I would have gave you guys a good look at it rather than show you how to make it, and that's kind of how it developed. That's how things started out. People always ask me that, but I love my Q&As and I love my world tours, and at the moment I'm really loving the custom maps. I'm doing these like custom maps, just like these silly little mini games, and just like a bit of silly parkour and some puzzle maps and stuff that really, it's probably lasts about half an hour. It probably doesn't go beyond that, and I love doing that at the moment. I love recording that. That's really fun as well, and I actually like doing, out of all of my tutorial videos that I do, houses are my favorite, and then it's probably like pixel art, and then it's probably like statues. Statues are my least favorite thing to tutorial, and not all statues, by the way. The statues that I don't like making tutorials for, or I least like making tutorials for, I should say, is YouTuber statues, because they follow pretty much the exact same format every time, and it just drives me insane. It's like making the same thing over and over again for me. They are cool, I like them, but making tutorials for them is my least favorite thing. But you guys can see that we have the front, the back, and the sides completely taken care of, nice guys, with the exact same materials that we used for the lower half of the hotel in the exact same pattern. Once you've got all of that taken care of, all you have to do is just fill the roof in with blue stained glass. So I don't know how we got there. Actually, I know exactly how we got to that subject. I was saying, like, it's difficult for me to say which builds I like, but it's actually easy to say which ones I actually like making on the channel, and that's how I kind of like stack rack things. I don't know, it's a weird thing being a YouTuber. Like, you want to do what you want, but you also want to appease your audience in a certain way. Like, I want to make things that you guys want to see, not just stuff that I want to see, and it's a weird balance if you guys have ever tried YouTube, and I know a lot of you guys have. That's kind of the cool thing about Minecraft, it makes everything accessible. But this is what we want to have so far, guys. This is the center part of the hotel, that's the left and right wing taken care of. What we now have to do, guys, is we want to take out our block of quartz, and we want to fill in the top part of the wings. We want to fill in the roofs of the wings of our hotel. So the bits that we have on the left and right with the big giant open roofs, fill those in with block of quartz. And once you've done that, we can then move on to the finishing touches of the hotel. It's going to be just about time for that already, once you have filled in the roofs. Yeah, that's a cool thing about YouTube, and especially Minecraft, and with all of the technology getting how it is, everything seems so accessible in YouTube now. Like, I remember back when I started watching it, like, I don't even know, like, late noughties, they called it, like 2007, 8, 9, probably like 2009 onwards is when I started like really getting into it, and it seems so exclusive then. Like, there was only a few guys, like, with the recording equipment. It was all so expensive. There was only just a few guys doing it, but now it's insane. Like, I watch a load of podcasts and stuff, and I obviously stumble across a load of videos, but there seems to be so many people that I've never heard of that have, like, 1 million subs. 10 million subs, 5, 3, 6, it's so crazy. I remember back in 2009 when I could have like reeled off at the top of my head like the top 10, maybe like top 20 YouTubers, but now it's completely insane. Like, nobody had this amount of subs. It just shows you how good it's growing, how well it's growing, how fast it's growing. It's crazy. It's weird. There's always been doomsayers in the YouTube community, like, what are you going to do when YouTube dies? It's dying in a couple of years, you know. It's not going to happen. And whilst I don't think that YouTube will ever die, I don't think it's ever going anywhere. I don't think that YouTube will ever die. It's so weird when people say that. It's so weird they'd expect it to just go poof out of nowhere when the exact opposite seems to be happening. Like, YouTube seems to be growing absolutely insanely out of control, just like Twitch. Everything seems to be going way more mainstream, not the other way around. But those are the 2 wings of the hotels filled in, guys. Those are the 2 roofs of the hotels completely filled in. And once you've got that taken care of, we can now move on to the next bit. What is the next bit? You might be wondering. Well, what we now want to do is we want to take out our block of quartz and we want to do this. So, in front of each one of these quartz blocks that we have going most of the way around the hotel, I do say most of the way around the hotel, we want to extend each one of these quartz blocks out in front of the hotel by 1. So let me just show you what I mean here. We kind of want to take each one of these quartz blocks and extend them coming out of the hotel by 1 like this. And I'll do a couple of layers of this. I'll do a couple of sections of this just to show you what I'm talking about. So, you now just want to extend each one of these quartz blocks coming out of the hotel by 1, and this will just do a couple of things. It will give the hotel a bit more of a shape, it will make it look a little bit more detailed, but it will also force the glass back by 1 block, and it'll just make it look a little bit better. It'll just make it look a little bit more realistic. So I'm just doing this left hand side here. I'm just doing like 1 whole row of it, and then I'll show you, then I'll kind of like mass produce it, if you will. So this is what you want to have going pretty much most of the way around the hotel, guys. Oh, let me take care of this middle bit as well, although I'm sure that you guys get it. So coming all the way around the hotel, you want to do this, and it will make it look a lot better, trust me. So you want to take each one of the quartz blocks in the middle, the left, right wings, have them poke out by 1, just extend them out by 1, but where you stop, guys, and you do stop at a certain point, you stop here. Like, it's kind of hard to show you. Can you see the difference between the 2 ones that we've done on the back corner and the 2 that you can see above it? That is where we stop with the quartz. Like, we do not want to go any further than here. Like, the back of the hotel is off limits, if you like. If you want, the entire back flat section of the hotel is off limits. You only go as far as this, and I've just done a couple of layers just to show you what I'm talking about. Like, that is as far as you want to go with the back part of the hotel. You don't want to come across the back of the hotel. You just want to go as far as that. And I guess that's all I can show you guys. So what we're now going to do is we're now just going to do all of that. But I was going off on some sort of weird tangent before this. Like, everybody has always been saying, like, that it's only a matter of time until YouTube dies, until Google's gone. Nobody ever says Google's gone, but that'd be a ridiculous thing to say. Google have so much money, they're never going anywhere. But yeah, YouTube's dying. YouTube's going to be dead in a few years. People have been saying this since the beginning of YouTube, and I think it's only finally beginning to set in that YouTube is not going anywhere. YouTube is now it's hard to describe what it is. It's like, I think it's forever going to be there. If it even evolves into something else, like if somebody comes out with the next YouTube is going to be right there. I don't think it's ever going to fade. It's so weird for me to try and describe what I have in my head, but I don't think that it is ever going to disappear, ever. I think it's going to be that thing that kind of continues, kind of like the classic. It's just going to forever be part of internet, and oh, how far did I go? It's forever just going to be a part of the internet and part of the culture in a certain way. Like, it used to be it used to be such a weird underground thing. Like, people were making videos on YouTube and they were making money, and they were making like they were making a fair amount of money, but it was kind of like a weird thing. Like, if you said, yeah, I have a YouTube channel, I have a few thousand subscribers, I make these videos, you got like a weird look off of people. But nowadays it's like, I have a YouTube channel, I've got like 500,000 subscribers. It's like people are actually like, oh well, you're doing well. You're not such a weirdo anymore. Like, it's actually been brought into the public. Like, it's on the news and stuff. It's like, YouTube video reaches such and such million views, blah blah blah. People are actually getting jobs and careers from YouTube. Like, it's spreading into the outside world. Like, if you're like Freddie Wong, for instance, who's like a high effort video maker, he's like an action video maker and stuff. Like, he might actually get outside work. They get sponsors from like actual big giant companies. It's crazy. It's crazy to think how far it's came. And whilst I've only been part of it for like a few years, since from like 2012 or so, but it's so weird. It's evolved so quickly as well, from going from this sort of like fringe, only little weirdos do it. Like, you record gameplay and you talk over it. That's the weirdest thing that I've ever heard, to now kind of, everybody's doing it. Everybody's got a channel. It's such a weird development. It really is, and it's only in really like a span of, I mean, oh my god, why is my nose all stuffy? I think I've got a little bit of hay fever, but it's such a weird thing to have only developed in like 6 years or 5 years or however long it's taken. It's not taken very long at all. It's a weird transition. Like I said, it's kind of went from like a fringe thing to a completely mainstream thing. It's happened so fast. I wonder if it's been like the rise of Facebook. I wonder if Facebook had anything to do with it, on Twitter and just complete social media. I wonder if that dragged everybody in, that made everybody crazy. Oh, I should point out, by the way, so once you've reached this point right here, in which you kind of like added all of the quartz onto the left-hand side, the right-hand side, and to a certain extent, like the back, you've went as far as there. What you then want to do, once you've got the wings taken care of, the left and the right one, what we now want to do is you want to come to the middle section of the hotel, and we want to continue this pattern upwards. So only the front middle section, we want to take each one of the quartz blocks and we want to extend them, coming out in front of the hotel by one. And this is only the quartz blocks, guys, and this is only the front middle part of the hotel. We don't want to do the sides. So what we'll want to end up with should look exactly like this, and as you can see, it makes a hell of a difference. Doesn't this thing look a lot cooler now that we've done that? Hasn't that very simple amount of detail just completely changed this thing? I think it has, and the reason that we've done it to the middle bit is because we did it to the lower middle bit, so it only made sense that we followed it upwards. Now, we have one last thing to add, guys, before we move on and take a look at my original version. So the last thing that you might want to do, take out your quartz slabs and go all the way around the tops of the edges of the left and right wing of your hotel. The left and right wings, I should say, not left and right wing of your hotel. That implies that they're together. Just go all the way around the edge of the top of the left and right hand wings of your hotel with your quartz slabs, and it'll just give it a nice bit of an effect, because those are two roofs on the hotel, and it just gives it a bit of a better effect. It makes it look nicer. That's the whole point of this, and that's why we have them. That's literally the only reason we have these things. They're just to do the tops of the hotel. As a matter of fact, we could get by without them if we really wanted to, but I didn't want to. And that, once we've done this, will be the structure of the hotel 100% fully completed. This is the structure 100% completely done, guys. This is the hotel. That is the hotel in its fundamental form. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to whiz away. I'm going to show you guys the original version of this hotel, and I can show you what you can do to this thing if you mess about with the interior, and to a lesser amount the exterior as well. But this is the tutorial portion of this 100% done, guys. Once you've got this taken care of, then that is the structure. So I'll be back in just a moment with the original version. So this is the original version of my hotel, guys. Do you recognize it? Do you like it? Does it look pretty good? I think it does. I think it looks pretty fantastic. Let's take a look at this thing, guys. So, obviously, I don't have much to show you in the ways of the interior. All I really have to show you is the layout. I haven't really filled this thing in, so to speak. I haven't furnished it, but I have set it out like an actual hotel, or at least what I perceive to be an actual hotel. So, the idea is we walk straight through this front door, and here we have kind of like the sign-in desk. Like, this is where, give me the keys! Or, you probably ask a little nicer, can I please have the keys to my room? This is supposed to be kind of like a foyer, like you'd have like sofas and a lounging area like in this right hand section and in this section as well. Here we have stairs on both the left and right hand side of the reception. By the way, reception area is what I was looking for. We have stairs on the left and right here leading up to the individual floors, and here we have what are supposed to be the individual rooms. So this would be like one room on here, and we'd have like another room here, and it goes on and on and on and on, obviously all the way up the hotel. And there's very little to see. There would have been more to see had I actually furnished the interior of this place, but you guys might know me by now, unless of course this is your first video, but let me clue you in. I don't like doing the interiors for any sort of building ever. It's no fun for me to do whatsoever. This is where you guys come in with your imaginations and such. You guys can put inside of these rooms whatever you like. As you can see, there's quite a few floors of this thing, but we have reached the roof floor. So we obviously have a couple of roofs here. In this version, I just knocked through the glass and, you know, we can actually walk out onto the roofs, and you can put some stuff up here if you wanted to. You could put some like hot tubs, or you could put like a couple of lounging areas, or you could put like a pool up here if you wanted to. That'd probably look quite cool. And you can really do whatever you want to these roofs. And as you can see, the floors kind of keep going and going and going all the way up to the top here, but there's no real purpose. Like, if you wanted to, I guess you could turn these into like mini rooms, or you could turn them into like utility rooms. Like this could be, for instance, like the kitchen up here, and like this could be like a washing area, or like a bathroom or something. I'm not sure a bathroom would make sense, but this could be like a washing room where you like wash clothes and stuff. Like this could be like, I don't know, like a staff room or something. I'm not sure what you do with these smaller rooms, but I'm sure that you guys could figure it out if you really wanted to. But there's quite a few of those all the way up at the top of the building, and those kind of like continue upwards from the floor that you can access the roofs from. But that should actually be quite easy for you guys to see how to do that. I mean, if you want to copy this layout, that's up to you. If you want to do a completely different layout, that's also up to you, obviously. But I mean, the floors are quite obviously in line with each one of the rows of quartz that we have, like all the way around the outside. Every single one of those quartz rows that we kind of like extended outwards, I mean, that's where all of the floors go. That should be fairly obvious to you. And you can see that the staircase is kind of, they're just like in the center here. I mean, on one floor they're on the right hand side here, and then on the next floor they're on the left, and then right, and then left and right and left. And there's not too much to say about the interior, guys, honestly. I think I've actually milked everything out of the interior that I actually plan to show you, and I don't think that there's anything else. I mean, just to show you a little bit like this, I mean, you can see how the rooms are laid out, and you can see how the stairs are laid out actually better from the outside than the inside. It's just kind of like in, out, if you guys can see. But yeah, that's the interior, guys. Let's take a look at the exterior. So the first thing that I did for the exterior was I made a big giant path that led to the entrance of the hotel, a grand path made of quartz and glass, and it actually looks pretty good. If you ask me, it actually looks pretty good. And just like with my other hotels, I made a border around it with the quartz. I decided to dig a big giant trench around it with the quartz. I then decided to put 4 giant fountains on the corners of the hotel, and I also decided to put some palm trees on the left and right hand side. Those are supposed to be palm trees, by the way, you can tell by the makeshift coconuts. And I also added this time a pool at the very back of the hotel, which looks quite nice if you ask me. And let's take a bit of a circle around this, and I can tell you some more technical details. So if you want to try and copy this exterior, coming out in front of the hotel, you're going to want to have a row of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. You're going to want to have a space of 10 between this and that, and in this 10th row you dig a trench around the hotel. And I believe that there is also a space of 10 on the sides. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's right, 10 in front, 10 on the sides. On the back it's slightly different because we have the pool. It's actually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So if you guys want to, first of all, start by digging the trench around the hotel, it's 10 out in front, and in the 10th row you dig the quartz. It is 10 out on the sides, 10th row you dig out the quartz, and on the back it is 16. So on the 16th row you would dig out the quartz and connect everything together. Let me see if I can give you a decent look at these fountains. Like, these fountains are obviously quite easy to make. They look pretty good if you ask me. They're all nice and balanced. There's actually water in the top of those, as you might be able to tell. I used a blue carpet for the water in the base, and kind of like hang around the bottom part of the fountain as well. But I mean, I don't know if you can tell how I put those together. It's actually quite easy. I'm sure that you can, to be honest with you. So 4 fountains on each one of the 4 corners. Here we have some palm trees on the sides. So these palm trees are very, very simple. I'm sure you can see how these are put together, and you can probably make some nicer looking palm trees than I can. Let's be honest. I'm not even sure if they look like palm trees. I'm just calling them palm trees, honestly. I don't know if they look like them at all, but that's what I've been calling them. And those are kind of like in line with the side. Like, if you can see, like, the side of the hotel here, this is how it all kind of lines up together, and then there's a space of 4 in between each one of the palm trees, if you guys want all of the numbers and stuff. And then for the pool at the back, which is the last thing that I have to show you, it's kind of like in line with the back of the hotel. If you guys can see, it's kind of in line. I mean, it's difficult for me to explain exactly where the positioning of that pool is, really, but I'm sure that you can see just by taking a look here. Like, if you want to copy this, then there you go. That's where it is. It is 3 blocks away from the hotel. It is 3 blocks away from the quartz border. It is 1 block shorter on either side than like the back long row of the hotel. And that is that, guys. And I suppose that is pretty much everything. And then, of course, all you have to do is you just have to fill the surrounding area in with cyan stained clay, and that's probably all I have to show you. But you guys can obviously feel free to make your own exteriors, make your own interiors, do as you will with the hotel. Once you've built it, it's all yours, of course. You guys know that. I don't have to explain that. You built it. Of course it's yours. But that is the hotel, guys. That is the hotel, 100% completely done, completely dusted. Takes a while to do all of the extras as well. On top of the time that it took you to make the hotel, it'll probably take you a similar amount of time to do everything else with it as well. But I will tell you, it's very much worth it. It's a very, very good looking hotel, if I may say so myself, if I may toot my own horn. But if you guys like this, I'd really appreciate it if you guys could give this video a like, a favorite, a share, anything you'd feel like doing, tell me out, guys. I would just vastly appreciate. I always do. I made this because you've been loving the hotels recently. You've been wanting some more in real life types of builds. So if you would like, favorite, share, if you wouldn't mind, it helps me out a lot. Feel free to comment down below. What sort of building would you like to see next? Would you like to see another hotel? Would you like to see a police station? And well, I've already made a hospital, actually. Would you like to see a police station? fire station, a petrol station? What do you guys want to see? Let me know. Feel free to check out the card system and the links below down in the description. Not only am I going to leave you a couple of playlists, but I'll probably link my other 2 hotels, and I might link something else in there as well. Maybe like a world tour or something like that. Who knows? But thank you very much for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.